Hello UCC community. Thank you for coming to our second online assembly of the year. We have a lot to share with you today. We are going to start off with some announcements, followed by Kurt, who will take us through a game. We will then listen to our first I Believe speech of the year by Jeremy Jacobacci in Year 12, and then end off with a few words from Mr. Bardai. First, let's begin with the congratulations to our new portfolio stewards. For academic steward, we have Eugene Yee. Athletic steward, Reed Gledhill. Community service steward, Kenny Ochuba. Creativity steward, Colin Cusinado. Social steward, Finn McDermott. And sustainability steward, Jay Kim. Now I'd like to call our creativity steward, Kurt Carrul, to run our game today.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Shell Shock World Championships. Today we have 6 players duking it out in the arena. I'm your host, head steward Uche Ochuba, and I'm joined today by creativity steward Kurt Carrul. Here we go. First of all, we've got Kurt Carrul hitting a dirty flick shot on Troy Bodell. Look at the technique, look at the poise. That's what you're looking for, kids.
Up next, another highlight for me. You're going to see that I get spawn camped by none other than Ethan Dotskis, but he's going to miss the initial shot. Here's his point of view. And while he's reloading, I'm going to clap him, and then he's going to try and whip out the pistol to get me, but it's too little too late.
Check out the reflexes on this. Jake Rivette right out of spawn from way downtown hitting the shot. Year 9 rep Jake Rivette with the disgusting reflexes hitting the shot on dots in the steps.
Uche, you're right. Those reflexes are gross. Let's have a look at the chat. We can look at how the players are interacting with one another, especially Dots. He was talking quite a bit of smack for someone who was in last for the majority of the game. Let's have a listen.
Yeah, I'm turning my mic off to get on this call. I need to start getting at some kids. Alright, boys. You guys want me to start trying now or what? Alright, so you gotta gang up on guard. Wait, are we trying? I'm not trying yet. Okay, that's why you're not, right?
We have our man David Aldrich courtside with an exclusive interview with Dots where he says, quote, "I'm going to try now." Let's see how this affects his game.
Oh my god! For me. Oh! Oh my god! Oh my god, Jake Rivette out here. Who's trying to... Oh my god, Kurt, you suck. Oh my god, how are they doing?
Uche, it looks like it did not change his game for the better. He would remain in last for the rest of the game. Jake Rivette, on the other hand, took home the championship for the Year 9s, racking up an 11 kill streak at one point during the game, the clear MVP of the round.
This has been Uche Ochuba and Kurt Carrul, your sideline reporters, signing off for the night.
In light of April Fools, I have a quick joke for you all. As a bank teller, I was required to obtain identification from customers making withdrawals, even if I knew them. On Mrs. Brady's 3rd visit to my window in a week, she balked at the request for an ID. "I can't believe you don't know me after all these years," she said. After a few minutes, I was relieving the drive-up teller and was surprised to see Mrs. Brady in the next car. "Hi, Mrs. Brady," I said, laughing. "Back again so soon?" "I'm glad you remember me," she huffed, "because that girl inside never does." Hopefully I've now gotten your attention, and you somewhat laughed or at least smiled at my horrible April Fool's joke. Nonetheless, I'm here to discuss something that I value and believe in tremendously. Let me tell you a bit about myself. My full name is Jeremy Adam Jacobacci. I'm 19 years old, and I'm originally from Montreal, Quebec. Whether you've met me before or are seeing my face for the first time, I would like to say that I'm glad to have spent the past year and a half at UCC among you all. Throughout my relatively short life, I've lived through some great moments and experiences, but also some dreadful ones as well. I've observed those around me in all sorts of environments, and I've taught myself to look past what people look like and what they're wearing, to look more closely, to see their facial expression, and then the real facial expression beneath that one. To see through their UCC polo, or their jacket, or their skin, and see what is really inside another's heart and that soul. I don't know many people that do this often, and it's something I'd like to share a bit with you right now. I'm able to look at a person and see whether or not they're really happy inside, or whether they're putting on a mask to hide how they're feeling from others around them. I can tell when someone is hurting deeply and when someone is genuinely happy. It's their body language, tone of voice, posture, things that are subtle and invisible to those who are not paying attention. I learned to do this because I have been in the position of the people that I observe, and I know what it's like to try my best to keep my mask intact. Let me explain myself, and let me tell you a few things about me that you most likely didn't know. In 2011, I lost my grandfather, one of my best friends, to a battle with Lou Gehrig's disease, a gruesome one, traumatic enough to burn a permanent hole in my memory and in my heart after witnessing the damage that caused him and our family. Between the end of March and the end of April of last year, two of my friends, one that I met during my childhood, passed away within a month of each other, both at the age of 18. Even before that, I began having issues with my mental health, my lowest moment almost leading to permanent damage caused by abusing alcohol. By telling you all this, my goal is not to ruin your day or completely change your perception of me, so please finish watching this video to the end. The reason I'm opening up to you about all this is because I'm almost positive that the majority of people that have met me, know me, or simply had a conversation with me have no idea that I've been through these things. If you noticed, then great job for noticing. If you didn't, don't beat yourselves up over it. I purposely didn't want you to know and worry about me. I despise being felt bad for, and the last thing I want to do is make excuses for myself. No need to worry, I do have people I go to when I need help. I behave in this way because that is the way I am. All those things I mentioned were traumatic events that one person went through. Take a few seconds and think of all the people you know and have met over the course of your life. You have no idea what kind of things they've gone through and may be going through at this very moment. This is why I want to share with you something that I do my absolute best to live by every single day and something I truly believe in. Be respectful and be kind to others. You're probably wondering, that's it? That's all he has to say? Give me a moment to elaborate. Everyone has their reasons for certain actions, clothes they wear, passions they pursue, rules they live by, etc., etc. Being on the outside, you don't have a clue what any person is going through. So why force them to do something they don't want to do? Why tell them they're fine and urge them to come out with you? Why pressure them to engage in something that they're not comfortable doing? I'm not talking about drugs, criminal activity, or any action remotely against the rules. It could literally be anything. You still don't know their reasons for their actions. That being said, here are 4 super easy ways you can be kind and respectful and try to live every day like I try to live mine. Number 1, don't walk away or pick up your stuff and move to another table when someone new gets close to you in any way. Let them sit, maybe have a conversation. You never know, you might have something in common. Respect other people's decisions. They have reasons they may not be sharing with you. 3, say hi to people in the halls, on the street, whether you know them or not. Finally, ask them how they're doing if you think something is wrong. Be there for them. Be aware of how people are behaving around you. You may be rolling your eyes at what I'm telling, and quite frankly, you may want to fast forward this video to the end. If you do, I completely respect your decision. I just hope that with this video, those who are watching get a gist of what I'm trying to say and will try to make small changes every day and maybe inspire those around them to do the same. I've experienced life gone in a matter of minutes, and I know what it's like to feel disrespected and mistreated. If one new person practiced this just a little bit every day, then the brotherhood and the family amongst you will be even stronger than you could have imagined. If you don't even think there is one among your peers yet, then now's a pretty good time to start one. There's no point in making someone feel bad or left out. Be kind to everyone. And hey, you might feel a little better when you help someone out or say hi to someone new. It doesn't have to be a 20-minute conversation every time. A nod of acknowledgement in the halls, a friendly hello, whatever it may be. If you're not convinced yet, try it once you're allowed to see others again, and when you're back in school. Try it out, see what happens. Let me tell you, it really did make me happier and feel better about myself, because I've been the best person I can be to others, and I hope that my new brothers at the school can testify to that. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I've not been my best 100% of the time, but I try my best to be, and that's the important part. Now that I'm about to graduate, I hope I've left you with something meaningful, and I hope some of you take it to heart and try it when you get the chance. Being kind and respectful is something you've heard quite often, but doing it 24 hours a day is something completely different. I've made it a part of my daily routine, and hopefully you already do so or are willing to make a small change in your life that will make a massive change in your friend group, the school environment, or even your greater community. If you want to talk to me about something I mentioned in this video or a problem you're dealing with on your own, please don't feel shy to email me, and we can definitely have a conversation either through messaging or a video call. Especially to the year 8s and 9s, even if you don't know me and are shy of talking to an older student, know that I've been in your shoes and I know what it feels like. Please send me an email. Don't hold back. With that, I wish you all nothing but the best, and I hope you're all making the best of an uncomfortable situation. I thank everyone who has helped me in the past few years, and I hope to stay in touch. Thank you for your time. Now get back to your synchronous learning.
Finally, a few words from Mr. Bardai.
Boys, I hope that this message finds you well. Hope that you and your families remain healthy and that you are enjoying our online learning. Thank you so much for your participation and all your involvement. The feedback from your teachers has been great. And I hope at the same time you also do pass on your appreciation to your faculty and your teachers as well. They're working extremely hard to make sure that you get the best possible learning you can during this time. So we're entering week 2 right now. I know that the first week was great to see each other, to reconnect, to be with your teachers. And as we get into week 2 now, it's really important that the learning sustains, that it continues, and that you find ways to continue to be engaged. And I'm hoping that you're able to find some of that learning really, really good for you. How are you managing your afternoon? Are you setting a schedule for yourself? Are you using the time you have in the afternoon well to continue to grow and learn in the best way that you possibly can? I hope that you're having that opportunity to do so. As we return to our current situation with COVID-19, I just want to really underscore again and emphasize the importance of you maintaining physical distance from one another and adhering to the guidance that we receive from all of our health and political authorities that we have in our country, helping to take care of us. It is our collective responsibility to do the best that we possibly can to ensure that we prevent the spread of the virus as much as possible, and that at the very least we do our best to ensure that it doesn't spread as quickly as we know that it can. And I know that's hard sometimes. I know that it means that you'll have to give up a little bit of what you're used to, but it is imperative that we do so. I wanted to share with you a small chart that was given to me by a friend. I thought it may be helpful just to orient us and to think about, how are you acting at this particular time, and where do you fall in this sort of diagram that we have here. So, who do you choose to be during this current time around COVID-19? And you'll see 3 different zones: the fear zone, the learning zone, and the growth zone. And as we look at the fear zone, just read what some of those prompts are. I get irritated easily. I panic buy. I act like a victim, looking who to blame. I hoard things. When you transition into the learning zone, now you begin to come to grips a little bit more and have a different perspective on things. I start to let go of control. I stop consuming that which causes me harm, from the news that I watch to what I consume in my body physically. I make a program for myself to make use of the time, and so on. And what we're trying to get is into the growth zone, right? Which is a different kind of realization. It's a different kind of perspective that you can have on the situation right now. And you ask yourself things like, I think about others and how I can be of help. Of course, this is assuming that you yourself or your family are safe and healthy at this moment in time. And how can you have a different kind of perspective? Live now with a clear picture of what's next. Okay, and you can have a sense at the bottom one as well. Be appreciative and be grateful. And I'm hoping that you can think of yourself, where do you fall right now on this? And ask yourself, how do I get in the learning and the growth zone if I'm currently in the fear zone? How do I help those around me get to that growth zone? And I think that will help us to maintain some perspective and to shift our own narrative and how we are handling the situation at this moment. At a time of a lot of misinformation as well, I wanted to point you to an authoritative source around the facts around cases. This doesn't talk to what you can do and how we can avoid the spread and all those kinds of things. But what it does talk to is a number of cases that are out there, and the way in which it's presented is actually really helpful. So it's from Johns Hopkins University of Medicine. So and they've been tracking this for since the onset almost, and it just gives you a really sort of real-time snapshot of various cases in different parts of the world that you may see here. Total confirmed cases updated, almost literally, minute to minute. And then you can see things like recovered and deaths and all that kind of stuff. And you can sort of scroll here to have a sense. You can see where Canada falls on that overall list. But again, as we're searching for authoritative sources of information to help us to have good knowledge and good information as we proceed, I think that can be a really valuable source for you. So on that note, I just want to say, boys, I wish you all the best. Continue learning. Don't be afraid to reach out if you need anything, and look forward to speaking with you soon.
Now, a quick word from Mr. Callie.
Good morning. I hope you and your families are well during this highly unusual time in our lives. I just want to take a few moments to share a brief message about well-being during the period of school closure. As a school, we direct significant amount of focus on student learning. That only makes sense, and I hope your transition to online classes has gone well over the past few days. However, while your academics are important, your health and well-being remains a top priority for your teachers, advisors, and for all of us. Hopefully, you are all aware that our health center staff are available online to speak with you to provide advice and support throughout this time. Please do not hesitate to reach out to them to talk about your own well-being or that of your classmates and friends. I recently had the opportunity to participate in a webinar led by a leading independent school psychologist who spoke about practical ways to support students like you who are transitioning to an online environment. These strategies will serve to enhance academic success, but more importantly, support your health and well-being. Number 1, dress for success. While school uniform certainly isn't necessary, working in pajamas or sweatpants sets a tone that is far too casual. It is important to establish a positive sense of self every morning. Number 2, sit like a pro. For greater productivity, strive for good ergonomics and create a productive workspace. Working while lying on a couch or in bed will not yield near as much productivity as sitting at a desk. Number 3, move your body for at least 30 minutes a day. Regular physical activity and exercise will elevate mood and create energy. Mr. Buttery, Mr. Hutton, and Mr. DiGiorgio have all created video resources with exercise demonstrations that you can do at home. Number 4, eat healthy food. Eating the right foods at routine times will help normalize metabolism and increase attention. Number 5, make and keep a daily routine. Predictability helps us manage anxiety at all times, but in particular during times of uncertainty. Number 6, protect time to socialize. The college closure obviously impacts our ability to see friends, but human connection, even online, is vital to well-being. I'll say more about this in a moment. Number 7, and finally, plan for tomorrow and keep a standard bedtime. It's easy to lapse into staying up later and settling into a weekend mentality, but maintaining consistent hours of sleep will definitely enhance success. I hope at least some of these strategies will be relevant and supportive during this time. I'd just like to conclude with a few remarks about something I've heard you guys speak about on numerous occasions. No doubt, our collective school experience looks very different right now, And I've realized the thing I miss most during this time is the daily face-to-face interactions with others. Well-being research highlights the importance of relationships in our lives, and I want to encourage all of you to stay engaged and connected with your friends and classmates, albeit in a virtual format while school is closed. Advising sessions are a great way to do this and stay connected with one another. The same is true for clubs programming and many of the arts initiatives you'll hear about in this assembly. The notion of the UCC brotherhood is often referenced during assembly, and I suggest that brotherhood is absolutely critical at this time. The brotherhood you share transcends walls, classrooms, stages, courts, fields, and Laidlaw Hall. The brotherhood you share is about each and every one of you and your place of belonging here at UCC. Let's make sure we're looking out for one another during this very challenging time, connecting and caring in meaningful ways to support our individual and collective well-being. Thanks a lot for listening.
Thank you all very much for coming out today. We look forward to seeing you all again soon at our next live assembly. Thank you.